So for this video I'm going to show how I made this glass bead bracelet with smaller beads in between. And this has been fastened off with a clasp, but obviously you could do it in different ways, just play around with the design. I'm just going to do a clasp with this one. To get started you're going to need some cord, a ruler, the larger glass beads that you're going to be using, and then the smaller beads that you're going to be using. I'm using 3mm pearl beads here. Some jump rings, and you want crimp rings with your split ring attached, and then for the other side you want one with a clasp attached as well. Some pliers, if necessary lighter, and some scissors. So to start I'm going to take the cord and I'm going to attach one end to the crimp. This can be a bit fiddly, but it does go on eventually. So once you've finished that, you should end up with something that looks like this, and it should be quite tight, but if you want to you can always add a dab of glue as well, just for a bit of extra security. So once you've done that, you want to take your ruler and measure out to the length that you want your bracelet to be. So I'm going to go for about 6.5, so I'm going to allow another ½ an inch for the clasp, and then you want to cut your cord into size. So next you want to thread your beads onto your jump rings. I like to do these all in one go, so if you know from the beginning how many you're going to need, or roughly how many you're going to need, you can do them all in advance and then just slot them all on at the end. So this one can be quite fiddly because they are small beads. What you want to do is get the bead on the jump ring like that, and then take your pliers, gently put those together and just press it into place. Make sure it's nice and tight so your bead won't come off, and then that's one completed beaded ring. So you just want to repeat this process with all the rest of them until you've got as many as you want, depending on personal preference. So once you've finished doing those, you will end up with something that looks like this, just a little bead on each ring. You can do as many or as few as you need for personal preference, or however big the bracelet you're going to be making is. And once you've done that, you can take your cord that you've already done, and then some of your bigger beads. I'm using glass beads, but you don't have to use those, that's just what I had. And then you want to start threading your bead onto your cord. So for this I tend to put about 4 or 5 on before I start adding these ones, but again that's down to personal preference. So now I've got 4 beads on. I'm going to add the first of my smaller beads on the ring, and then after that I'm going to add a larger bead. and then the smaller bead, and just alternate this until I've got as many on as I want. So once you've finished your beading, you're going to end up with something that looks like that. So what you want to do then is take your other crimp and attach that to the other side of the bracelet. Now you want to leave a slight little gap just to allow the beads to move, otherwise it ends up being a bit too rigid. So once you've clamped that on, you can trim off the excess. And again, if you want to, you can just use the lighter. That'll give it a little bit of extra security, as well as getting rid of the last little end that you couldn't get rid of with the scissors. And that is your completed bracelet. So now you can try it on. And this is quite tricky when you're doing it on your own wrist, but once you've done it, you will end up with a bracelet that looks like that. So I hope this was helpful or inspires somebody in their own jewellery making, and thank you for watching.